Get ready.
They say they need to ban the podcast equipment and take y'all mics away. And oftentimes when I listen, shit, I agree.
For real talk.
Hey, man, just because we know people don't mean that they know things. A lot of us was in the same classes with some of these folks. That don't mean they were passing these classes.
All the time.
It ain't the world leaving you behind, man. It's your line of thinking. You think the science stopped evolving because you stopped learning, and it don't work that way. I couldn't imagine voting for somebody who thinks identifying with me is identifying with a felon. That's crazy as hell. I'm Mr. Spann, and I'm approving these messages. This is the Mr. Spann Official Podcast. Let's go. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Spann Official Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Spann, and this is episode number 82 of the show. And yeah, man, it's been a couple weeks since the last time I talked to y'all, man. Last time we talked, I think I was reviewing something of was it Jubilee or some shit like that, some crazy shit Jubilee had put up, and we talked a little bit about that. And we also talked about Charlie Kirk's untimely demise, or some would call it timely. Depends on which side of the aisle you rock with that on. But yeah, man, it's been a couple weeks, and I've been wanting to talk about, a bunch of shit over the course of the last few weeks, but, lives and stuff like that. And I'm not going to even give y'all the whole rigmarole because y'all already know what it is at this point. But before we get into everything, I do need to remind you guys how to get in touch with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and let your voice be heard. Go ahead and hit me up on the hotline at area code 313-288-0485. There's area code 313-288-0485. Leave those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get replied to here live on the show and responded to in kind. And if you're watching us here live on YouTube and or Facebook, go ahead and hit up that hotline and you can chop it up with your man Spann while we're doing the show. So that's area code 313-288-0485. Also, reach out to your mans over at Threads and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, follow me there, chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Threads has really become my go-to social media platform right now. So for those of you who are on Threads, I think Threads just surpassed Twitter or X in monthly users and shit like that. We're going to talk a little bit about that later, but yeah, man, that's pretty much where I'm at right now. So if you really want to chop it up with your mans, hit me up on Threads. My name on there, of course, is Mr._Spann. You can also, hit me up on Spotify and or YouTube with those 5-star views, man. Those 5-star views are the ones that get right here live in the show. We really appreciate everybody who does that. Doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast Network in its entirety. And also, if you're watching us via YouTube, man, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, man. Leave us some comments over there on YouTube on the videos, and those videos, those comments will get highlighted here as a part of our feedback. When we have our listener feedback portion of the show, man. So we really do appreciate, all of you guys reaching out to us in that way, man. There's a plethora of ways for you to be heard over here. But also, if you want to put something on it, you want to put 5 on it, there's a way where you can put 5 on it and get something back tangibly, right? So we do have a store, the Mr. Spann Official Spann Report Podcast Network store. You can go ahead, copy yourself some merch, get yourself a t-shirt, get yourself a hat, get yourself a coffee mug, get yourself a water bottle, get yourself a tank top or a hoodie. It's getting cold outside. Well, at least not here in Michigan, because damn it, it's 88 degrees here, and it's October. I am sitting here in a basketball jersey and some shorts in October in Michigan. It is wild how warm it is right now. Global warming is a real fucking thing. Shout out to the Hegseth guy, the drunk that they got in charge of the Department of Defense. But yeah, man, go to our store, man. Copy yourself some merch, man. We really do appreciate everybody who does that. That does cost you a couple dollars, but man, it really does contribute to what we got going on over here. We really appreciate everybody who does that, man. Real talk. But already I'm seeing some comments here in the chat. My man Dwayne says, let's see. He's talking about, yo, what's up? What's going on, brother? What's going on? And then he also was talking about the Amanda Seales Jubilee. Yeah, man. Amanda Seales is on Jubilee. Not even just Amanda Seales though, right? It wasn't just Amanda Seales. It was also the one. I think the one that we really did was the one where Mehdi Hassan was on there with the fascists and shit. So yeah, man. That was kind of wild. Adam's in the chat room. He says, "Good evening, Mrs. Spann. Hope that you are doing well. I am doing good, brother, and I appreciate you being here. Hope you enjoy the show tonight." Also, he says the weather is insane. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is. Hey, Google, what's the weather right now? Just this.
Currently in Hazel Park, it's 85 degrees and sunny.
85.
Tonight, the forecast is for a high of 81 and a low of 63 and clear.
And yo, I'm sorry for everybody here whose shit just got triggered. If you got some Google shit at the crib, I'm sorry, man. I ain't mean to trigger y'all shit too. I know that happens a lot when you do that whole shit. But yeah, man, it's warm up here. Then my man Dwayne says the Republicans will tell you global warming isn't a thing when it clearly exists. Yeah, man, like this. I don't remember this being a thing. I remember my freshman year at Tennessee State University bragging to my folks back home in Chicago that I was in Nashville wearing a wife beater and some shorts. Right, this is back in '99. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, man, like shit. It's what y'all wearing up there? Y'all hoodied up yet? You know what I'm saying? Now it's up here now. You know what I'm saying? Like Nashville done reached up here. Like it's crazy. So yeah, man. He says it's hot in Alabama too, man. Hey man, y'all stay safe, man. Just stay safe, stay warm, have your sunscreen and all that other good stuff, man. Stay warm, man. Now, before we get pissed off tonight, because I feel like I'm gonna get pissed off tonight, I do want to talk to y'all about. I had posted on the social medias a couple weeks ago that I did get a chance to get my hands on some Crown Royal chocolate. Okay, so the Crown Royal chocolate is in the building. Okay? And so for the occasion, man, I felt like it would only be right for me to give y'all like a live sort of like what would we call that, review of the Crown Royal chocolate, right? Because y'all know your boy Spann is a fan of the Crown Royal, especially the flavored Crown Royals, and I've had the opportunity to taste this already. I've been tasting this quite a bit. Okay, so we got that going on. But not only that, I know sometimes folks like the bags and stuff that it comes in. So here's the bag. It's like a nice brown and gold bag. You know what I'm saying? I know the Iotas would probably like this bag because it matches y'all colors and shit. So shout out to Iota Phi Theta. As a matter of fact, I know a few of the founding members of the charter, of Iota Phi Theta at Tennessee State University. Like when I got there, they were new too. So that was a whole thing. But yeah, man. So I'll say this. I like this crown. I like this crown a lot. This crown, for one, very strong chocolate notes when you put it up to your nose. Okay, very strong when you put it up to your nose, and also, the thing is, it's not like you get a very strong chocolate taste when you're sipping it. Listen, so it's not real strong, but you get the chocolate taste almost as like an aftertaste. Like you taste it on the way down, right? And it's smooth, man. It's real smooth. So yeah, man, I'm gonna put this in the rotation. This is definitely in the rotation. Now, if I had to, rank my favorite, flavored crowns, I would probably put, I would put the blackberry fifth. Right, I think the blackberry is okay if you're mixing it with something. I like to drink my whiskeys, straight on the rocks and stuff like that. Every now and again, if I'm drinking bourbon, I like to drink a nice old fashioned. But yeah, man, if I had to pick, the blackberry would probably be fifth. Blackberry kind of puts me in the mind of like medicine. It tastes like Dimetapp. For those of you who are old enough, who remember that great flavored cough syrup your parents used to give you when you was a kid, because that was the shit that was, at least it tasted somewhat decent compared to whatever it tasted a hell of a lot better than NyQuil or Tylenol cold and flu or some shit like that. Your mama used to give you that Dimetapp. You sip that up, right? So I would put the Crown Royal Blackberry number 5. Number 4 for me would probably be the Crown Royal Apple. Now, I do like the Crown Royal Apple. My father-in-law loves the Crown Royal Apple. I think that's probably his favorite one at the moment. But like Crown Royal Apple, it's okay. I like that. I would take the Crown Royal Apple if it's if that's what you got. All right, I'll fucks with it. Crown Royal Apple. It's not my favorite, but I'll fucks with it. You know what I'm saying? So Crown Royal Apple would be number 4 for me. Number 3 for me would be this right here, the Crown Royal chocolate. I think Crown Royal chocolate right now, I would definitely put this in the regular rotation. It wouldn't be my everyday joint, but yeah, I would definitely put the Crown Royal chocolate. It's in my top 3, man. This is really smooth. It's really flavorful. So yeah, I would definitely put that in my top 3. My number 2 would be the Crown Royal Peach. I love that Crown Royal Peach. I remember when they were price gouging the Crown Royal Peach when that shit came out. Like I had to like drive around town to try to find somewhere where they had it for a decent price because some of these liquor stores in the Detroit area would like they I guess they knew their customers more than they do me because they were like, hey, ain't nobody about to drive all the way out there to go get that. And I'm like, I would drive out there to go get that if I ain't got to pay you no fucking $50 for that bottle. That's crazy. So yeah, man, the Crown Royal Peach is definitely my number 2. And my number 1 would be the Crown Royal Salted Caramel. Now the Salted Caramel has actually, I don't know if they've stopped it from being seasonal or if they're, or what, but I've been noticing like a lot of stores been having much more Crown Royal Salted Caramel throughout the year as opposed to it only being like a fall winter thing. So, but that's my favorite one. Those are my favorite ones: Salted Caramel, peach, chocolate, apple, and then the blackberry. The blackberry bringing up the rear. But yeah, man, we got that going on. I figured like, I might as well do my review before I got pissed off. You know what I'm saying? Because we gonna get pissed off today. I'm sorry, but we gonna get pissed off, man. My man Dwayne says, I can remember in 2016 Christmas Day here, it was 82 degrees and I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt. But you in Alabama, man. I don't know if that you could flex that one. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you can flex that one. When you in Alabama, baby, like that's like being in New Orleans, like talking about some man shit. It was 90 degrees in fucking October. I don't know if they would say that's like totally out of the ordinary. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. And he also says these white MAGAs are crashing out all across the country. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And we're going to talk about these motherfuckers crashing out all across the country, man. Real talk. But yeah, man. So lots been going on, man. A lot's been going on. And, one of the things that really animated me this week where I was like, yo, I got to talk about this. I got to get this shit off my chest because I feel like it's been a buildup of things over the course of the last few weeks that have been happening. And it's just like, you got to say something. You got to get it off you like, so you can lift this weight up off you and like, just like kind of breathe, let this shit off your chest. You know what I'm saying? I think that's why therapy is so good because oftentimes, man, you get a chance to like these things that you're feeling these things and you get a chance to express them to somebody who doesn't sit in judgment of you, who doesn't have any incentive on, taking a side which way or the other. They just like, it's about you coming to some realization or understanding that sometimes you just need to verbalize your shit. You need to get that shit up off you. You need to get that shit up out you. And so that's what I feel like I'm going to be doing today. Real talk. So, now the last time I believe we spoke, we talked about how, we talked about the death of Charlie Kirk and we talked about how, I know explicitly I said that, Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck about Charlie Kirk. And I know those on the right would be, oh man, hate. And to those folks, I would say,
it's above me now.
It's above me now. Like, it's above you too. Like, Charlie Kirk, who he was, he left a lot of footage of him saying some incendiary things. Everybody isn't going to rock with him. It was weird and how y'all were trying to, sanitize his image and his message as if people didn't have eyes and ears to see what the fuck they saw and heard. It was weird in how they were trying to get people fired from jobs because of how you wanted to mourn Charlie Kirk and they didn't, right? Now, one of the things that came up, was like this idea, like now all of a sudden, the right wing has embraced cancel culture. They were so much against cancel culture, not even just last year they were against cancel culture, but suddenly they've taken on, they've embraced the idea of cancel culture, but it's taken on a very weird sort of fucking turn, right? So one of the things I'm gonna pull up here. There's this video. Wait, let me take that down. This is video of this woman. She goes into a Starbucks, and she essentially is trying to get the Starbucks employees to say Charlie Kirk's name. Now, why she's in the Starbucks trying to get these employees at the Starbucks to say Charlie Kirk's name, I have no fucking idea. Other than on some performative shit and also that cancel culture shit that they said that they were against, right? But This woman goes into the Starbucks, and I'm gonna pull this video up because you got to see this shit for yourself. Just how pathetically these folks who claim that they are against being not only they're against cancel culture, but they're against the idea of being victims. Right? They say that Democrats and the left have sold victim mentalities to those who adhere to those sensibilities. Right? This is them attempting to be a victim and failing fucking horribly. All right, failing horribly. I'm gonna pull this up. This is from Yvette Nicole Brown's threads. It's a video that she posted. I believe it's a repost. So I'm gonna pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Oh, this shit is too big. I'm gonna have to move my thing back here. All right, let me share my screen here. And wait, where is it? Oh, here we go. Damn, Spann. You big dummy. All right, let me pull this up so you guys can see right along with your man Spann. I'm going to blow this up so that you guys can see it better. All right, here we go.
So you didn't call his name out? You didn't call the name out? Yeah.
Wait a second. Do they have... Okay, let me do it this way.
So you didn't call his name out?
I'm going to do it this way because for whatever reason, Threads doesn't have any fucking video controls. Like I can't stop it, pause it, and whatever else when I want to highlight something. But they did have this on Instagram. So I'm going to pull up the Instagram so you guys can see that. So let me do this here. Let me pull that down. Let's do the Instagram. All right. Now let's see it on here. Woman freaks out on Starbucks barista for not calling out Charlie Kirk's name. All right, here we go.
So you didn't call his name out? You didn't call the name out? Yeah. She's recording right now. I am.
Okay, now for those of you who are not watching us right now, there's a young lady who works at Starbucks. She basically brought this woman's drink to her table, right? The woman who had her drink brought to her table was upset that the young lady didn't call out the name that they wrote on the cup, right? Usually if I'm not at Starbucks regularly. I'm not at Starbucks regularly. Very seldom will you find me at a Starbucks, but I'm under the impression that usually when they call out someone's name for their cup, it's for you to get your ass up to come to the counter and come retrieve your drink. This employee brought your drink to your table. What the fuck would she be calling out a name for if she delivered your drink to your table? Right? Like, how dare you try to be a victim in an instance where you're getting top-notch customer service? Like, I've never seen anybody try to turn customer service, good customer service, into victimhood. That's the first thing.
Yep. Why can't you say his last name?
What is happening? Why are you being like that, Jennifer?
Why are you being like, yeah, why are
Okay, and also there's another customer here who's essentially witnessing this, and she's like, oh, not only are you recording, but now you're being antagonistic toward this employee. Like it's clear that the employee doesn't really know what the fuck is going on. And the customer, there are other customers calling this woman out.
Why are you being like this? Yes. Well, okay, why are you being like that to me? I'm not. I actually am making a point, a big point.
Recording her, setting her up for failure.
I actually wrote a very good post prior to this.
Crazy, man.
Again, I wrote a very good post prior to this. So you went in there with the plan. You went in there with the plan to antagonize these folks. You went in there thinking that they were going to mistreat you in some sort of way, that they were going to not give you good. I'm seeing nothing but top-notch customer service. I ain't never sat down at Starbucks and had a drink brought to me. But again, like I said, I'm not a regular at the Starbucks. But if I got my drink brought to me, I don't think that they should be, Antoine, I don't think they would be hollering out my fucking name as they bring me my fucking drink. That's stupid. That's fucking dumb.
It's not. I wrote a very good post prior to this. I wrote a really good post. I was really hoping you were going to make the right choice.
And that girl is standing there. You can tell she's fidgeting with her hands. She's upset. She's nervous because now she thinks her job is on the fucking line. I may have lost my job just for bringing this lady a drink and not yelling out the name on the cup. Because this lady wants to try to come in here and make a political point about some dude who did nothing but spread rhetoric, who did nothing but talk shit about people who are of marginalized communities. But she's trying to position herself as a victim. Make that shit make sense, man.
It's not politics. A man spoke up.
Hold on. It's not politics. Just not even 30 seconds ago, she was trying to make a political point. She stopped herself short of saying, or she thought she was calling, she was stopping herself short. She went from saying, I'm trying to make a political to a big point. So it's all politics. You're not fooling anybody.
Up for what he believes in, and he got shot in the neck over it. And you couldn't stand there and call my name out, my name, but you called his name out.
Also, she called his name out, and guess what he did? He came up to the fucking counter and retrieved his drink. Nobody brought their drink to them. You miserable bitch.
But you called his name out, couldn't call his name out. Called his name out, but couldn't call his name out. No, actually I was setting him up for success because I wrote a really good report. Excuse me? It is Charlie Kirk.
Also, I feel sorry for the dog. You know, she has a dog there with her. I feel sorry for Pup. Pup didn't want to be a part of this bullshit. Pup like, man, just feed me, rub my belly, and let me go to sleep, man. I don't want to be a part of this shit. And he's got a shit owner. I'm sorry.
The point. You guys came in after me. The place was completely empty. And you're making a scene. You didn't have to make a scene. It's a name. It's a policy that your company upholds. They came in after me. It was completely empty when I came in. That woman right there was the only person in here. I actually wrote you guys a really good review prior to getting this, saying,
I'm trying to figure out what them coming in after her has to do with the fact that they brought her fucking drink and they didn't call her name out on the cup because they brought her fucking drink. What does that have to do with the price of tea in China, ma'am? Come on, man.
What upstanding it was, how wonderful it was, hoping she would stand there and say my name, Charlie. Just Charlie would have been fine because she said his name. So I was saying, okay, maybe it's just going to be Charlie. And I was thinking she'll say just Charlie. And I was rooting for her to just say Charlie. And what did she do? She brought me my drink.
Oh my God. She brought me my drink. Oh, the humanity. Oh my God. They are totally fucking messing me up, man. They are totally fucking with me. They actually brought my drink to me. The nerve, the unmitigated gall. Like, this bitch is unhinged, man. Unhinged. Oh man, we got a couple comments here in the chat, man. My man Dwayne says that his last words where before he was sent to the upper room was gang violence. He was taking shots at black people. Absolutely, he was taking shots at black people. Reggie's in the chat room. He says, anytime I've seen a dog at Starbucks, it was outside with the owners. Why is this dog inside? Now, I'll say this, man. The dog is pretty well behaved, right? I just hate that his owner is a piece of shit, okay? I hate that the owner is a piece of shit. It's a beautiful dog. Dog is well behaved. Dog is just sitting there minding his own doggy business while his owner acts like a complete bitch. Okay. Dwayne he said these Karens give this country a bad name. Well, I mean, before they were Karens, they were just out here just being bad people, man. So we got that going on. But yeah, man, craziness, bruh.
Why'd she say his name? Twice. Not once, but twice. No, it's not. It's bad policy. It's bad. And she said she doesn't believe in politics. but yet you're willing to do this. And I wrote you guys such a good review in advance.
I really appreciate that, but it's not my policy.
It's not though, see, and that's the problem. And now I'm gonna have to go back, and I'm actually gonna post the good review that I wrote first, and then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna add this video to it to show that I wrote the good review first. I'm gonna leave the good review.
These people are fucking unhinged, bro. Like, and it goes to show you in some small way, like the silos that some of us find ourselves in, especially on social media, when you think that like behaving like this is actually a good thing, where you think that accosting people and thinking that they are always thinking of the shit that you are thinking politically is you know, like that main character syndrome we talk about, where like everybody's thinking about this thing that I'm thinking about, when a lot of times, man, folks just aren't focused on that, right? And I know as someone who is a little bit, you know, like a little bit more politically attuned, who pays a little bit more attention to this, I understand sometimes I find myself frustrated at the fact that like some folks aren't necessarily aware or paying attention to some of the things that are going on. But this right here is you being extra, because never would you need to go to try to make a point about people not saying the name of Charlie Kirk, as if, for one, Charlie Kirk was important, and two, that you were a victim of bad customer service when these people did nothing but be nice to you and bring you a fucking drink. It doesn't make sense, man.
And I'm going to post this video to show what an ass she made of herself and how you came out and you did this, because this is, wow.
You know what? I was on, just an aside, I was on Three Guys On earlier today with Randolph, Andy Klein, earlier today. Rob was on there, and forgive me, brother, for forgetting your name, man. But we were on here earlier today, and we were talking about the lack of self-awareness of a lot of people on the right wing. They have a stunning lack of self-awareness. This woman thinks that everyone, Brother Mark, there we go, Ready T, appreciate you, brother. Brother Mark was in on Three Guys On earlier. There was a lack of self-awareness on the right, where they don't know how much of an ass they're coming across to other folks who aren't a part of their little club, right? They have absolutely no sense that they are the ones who everybody else is looking at like they have. Am I the asshole? Yes, bitch, you are. You're the asshole right now. For whatever reason, a lot of people on the right can't seem to fathom them being the asshole. But she's being the asshole right now. She's pointing to everyone else, and everybody else is looking at her like, no, it's you. It's you.
I didn't talk to her. I'm actually talking to you. It's called freedom of speech. This is what Charlie Kirk died for.
And freedom of speech only protects you from persecution from the government. That is it. That is all. Should not be that hard.
I am a paying customer, and I have not done anything. I am just sitting here. You're going to ask me to leave because you're going to call the authorities? Are you?
Hey, shout out to this motherfucking Starbucks, man. Shout out to them. Hey. Shout out to them, because now you're disrupting everybody fucking else on this bullshit attempt to be a victim in a situation where nothing wrong happened to you. Right? Nothing. Oh, shit. Yeah, Spann, don't fuck up your shit. You ain't drunk. Right? No, but nothing wrong happened to you. So I applaud this manager at this Starbucks for getting this disturbing the peace ass bitch about the paint. Like, hey, not only am I going to like ask you to leave, if you don't leave, I'm gonna call the fucking police on your goofy ass, because now you're disrupting you're disrupting our environment here, and this ain't good for business. I'm gonna need you to go. And you think you are the victim in this situation?
Are you serious? Wow. You're going to call the authorities because I asked somebody to say a name. I'm disturbing what? I'm disturbing who? This is the person who made the scene. Okay, I'll go ahead and leave the video too. I didn't make a scene. I asked somebody to say a name. That's not making a scene. I'm still not making a scene.
Poor pup. Poor pup. I'm sorry, pup.
Exactly what Charlie Kirk died for. This is what you.
Now, here's what's funny. Had no clue she would look like this at all, man. Just
Not never.
this was not the look that I thought this lady would have. When I first saw this video, I was like, this was not the look of the lady that I thought, I don't know what the fuck I thought. I just didn't think she'd look like this, right? But this woman comes into a Starbucks to make a fucking scene. She came there to somehow, some way become a victim in a situation where nothing was given to her but good customer service. This is how unhinged it is to be someone on the right, where you're looking for the victimhood. Now, in cases where folks are genuinely victims, they get upset with those folk and say, how dare you be a victim? Why are you being a victim right now? Systemic racism, that's not a thing anymore. Discrimination, that's not a thing anymore. Until they can, try to use social media to, grift other folks into believing that they're a victim and maybe set up a GoFundMe, a Give, Send, Go or some bullshit like that and give other people who've never been really victims of anything to give them money. Right? So it's really weird, man. It's really fucking weird, man. But yeah.
All need to understand. It is called freedom of speech. It is getting shut down in America. And this young lady over here wanted to point out that freedom of speech is what is getting shut down. She is saying she's pre-recording like it's a big thing. This is a public space, and we are not allowed to publicly record in a public space. People are allowed to do their work. They are allowed to have their workspaces. They're allowed to have their laptops open, and they're allowed to publicly broadcast, and they're allowed to do all these kinds of things here in Starbucks as a public place.
So here's the thing. Nobody's stopping you from doing any of that. They just acknowledged that that you were doing it. And then when you became a problem, they asked you to leave. You can still go outside and broadcast and video record everything outside. You can still do that. The government isn't coming after you. The police aren't running up on you and saying, hey, put that fucking phone down. You can't record this. None of that is happening to you.
But they are not allowed to ask for their name to be spoken out. So now at this point in the juncture, I have to stop the video and I'm going to have to go on live. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. So we're going to go on live. So stay tuned.
Yeah. Yeah, so this was just some weird broad, man, who just wanted some attention, man. Like, they just wanted fucking attention. And it's weird, man. We're in a very weird place in America right now, and we didn't have to be here. We did not have to be here. Real talk, man. Reggie's in the chat. He says, that's not your damn name. You play. Exactly. Calling out your name. That's not your name. Your name isn't Charlie Kirk. You want some symbolic, I want you to call out his name. That's the other part that's also weird. Is that y'all were upset when Black Lives Matter protesters were insisting that folks say the names of the victims of police violence, when they were asking you to say the names of Tamir Rice, when they were asking you to say the names of Breonna Taylor, when they would ask you to say the names of Mike Brown, when they would ask you to say the names of Ahmaud Arbery, and the countless other black folks who were being extrajudiciously executed by people authorized by the state to take lives. Right? So when they were telling you to say their names, y'all mocked that shit. But now you want to go into Starbucks and insist that the Starbucks barista say their name on a fucking cup after they brought you to drink? Fuck you, man. That's stupid. That's fucking stupid. It's wild, man. It's wild. Like to watch them like, behave in such a way, man. It's just yeah, man. Speaking of like the Charlie Kirk people though. So Charlie Kirk supporters found themselves they went to my alma mater. They went to Tennessee State University about a week ago. And they were promptly I'll just say this. They got them the fuck about the paint, man. And it was just like,
Think of how stupid the average person is, and then realize half of them are stupider than that.
And that's what I equate to Trump supporters. Real talk. Trump supporters, Charlie Kirk supporters, y'all some dumb motherfuckers. Because ultimately, I feel like this. I feel like Donald Trump and the people surrounding Donald Trump and the talking heads around Donald Trump, I don't think they have the respect for Donald Trump supporters that the Donald Trump supporters think that they have. I think that the people around Donald Trump and the talking heads that promote Donald Trump think that the supporters of Donald Trump are just as stupid as the rest of the black people and the brown people and the Democratic people think that Trump supporters are. I think all of us think y'all stupid, but it's got a bite when you know that even y'all leaders think y'all stupid too, right? They think y'all just as stupid as we think y'all stupid. Okay, but Charlie Kirk supporters, man. After Charlie Kirk was unalived at that university in Utah, disagree. He was unalived at that university in Utah, and Charlie Kirk supporters found themselves going to Tennessee State University, again my alma mater, to insist upon some debate. Okay, now I'm going to play the news version of this, and then we're going to read an HBCU publications version of what happened here. So I'm going to pull this up so you guys can watch, of course, right along with your man Spann. Hold on a second while I pull this video up, and let me share my screen here with you guys, and let's see what happened in Nashville at Tennessee State University when these fuck ass dudes showed up on the yard. Let's see.
Had a group of people come and start to heckle us.
Why even provoke on our campus?
New tonight, chaos here at the Tennessee State University campus after a debate group visits the campus wearing MAGA hats and carrying signs against DEI and illegal immigration.
Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar joining us from TSU tonight after speaking with both students and that debate group.
Most students I spoke with are calling the conservative group who showed up here at TSU hateful. That group tells me they were just trying to have civil discourse with the students and are accusing those who push back of inciting violence. Video shows spirited Tennessee State University students gathered around the Fearless Debates group. David Kate is a co-founder.
We went from a peaceful conversation with students to quite literally a mob inciting violence against us.
He tells me they are trying.
Again, these motherfuckers are trying to see, they trying to act like they are victims. They are not.
I'm supposed to feel sorry for that bitch. I don't.
Trying to encourage debate on the heels of Charlie Kirk's murder. The signs the group brought read, DEI should be illegal and deport all illegals now. Let's talk.
Okay, you went to a college campus, an historically black college campus in Nashville, Tennessee, and talked about DEI should be illegal and deport all illegals, right? They went there with the express purpose of antagonizing people of color. You saw the makeup of that campus. You saw that the makeup of that campus is primarily black kids, right? And I'm wondering about this thing that the right has. And I know the university is supposed to be where, even the word university itself is like the study of many ideas, right? So like you bring ideas in from all over and you debate them and you examine them and then you come out with a solution. However, it's one of those things where I wonder why y'all continuously go towards the children. I'm wondering why these adults keep finding themselves trying to debate against teenagers. I'm wondering why these adults keep going to these places to have these debates and not someone of their own level, someone of their own stature, right? They keep going to these places and then using these places as farms for their social media content. Excuse me. And they use these places as farms for their social media content. They're content farming. And then when they, they'll have it, maybe they get the one up on a 19-year-old who hasn't fully fleshed out his politics. Maybe he hasn't even all the way fleshed out his, how he thinks about a thing, but he feels passionately about it. He may not necessarily have it all together, but if you catch this motherfucker in about 5 or 6 years, he will wipe the floor with you. And it's part of the reason why these dudes go to these types of campuses all the time, because again, they know by them being there, they automatically have the upper hand because they can control how long that person is going to be able to debate them or not, right? They can shut that person down. They can, and depending on the college campus that you're on, like say for instance, if Charlie Kirk was to show up on the campus of University of Texas, I would imagine there are a very large amount of MAGA supporters at the University of Texas. I'm sure if he was up there debating someone, the Texas crowd would probably really be on the side of Charlie Kirk, despite the fact that Charlie Kirk may be getting his ass handed to him, right? But they will use those sorts of settings to farm social media and make it seem as though Charlie Kirk was making all the fucking points and this other person didn't really know what they were getting themselves into, right? And so what happened was these silly motherfuckers showed up at Tennessee State University. They acted as though they were victims. Hey, we set up, we just wanted to have a debate, and then it became like a mob. No, those kids understood exactly what the fuck was happening. They understood what was happening. And they got y'all to fuck up out the paint. And I'm going to be honest, as an alumni of Tennessee State University, I couldn't be more prouder of those kids. I couldn't be more prouder. Get their asses the fuck up out the paint, because I'm of this mindset now, man. I'm 45 years old. I've been podcasting 15 years. I've been on the side where I thought we should be having a conversation with people who don't agree with us, this, that, and the other. It's been 15 years to that shit now, bro, where I'm like, yo, hey, man, you see the same shit I'm seeing. You're watching the same thing I'm seeing. You're coming to a very different motherfucking conclusion than I'm coming to, but your conclusion puts my humanity at a disadvantage. So if you think that your conclusion and my humanity is something to debate, fuck you. There's no conversation to be had about that. There's no conversation at all. I am over that. And you see it in social media, right? We was talking about, I made mention of this earlier when I was talking about, I'm mostly on Threads now. And I gave up Twitter. I gave up Twitter after being on Twitter for, I want to say 15 years. I was on Twitter for a long time. I wasn't like, no big motherfucking account on Twitter. I think I had maybe 1,300 followers on Twitter or something like that. It wasn't nothing crazy like that. But I got off of Twitter when the owner of Twitter openly mused about why no one was trying to assassinate Kamala Harris. And I'm like, yo, if the owner of this motherfucking platform is on this type of bullshit, there's no need for me to continue to be here. And I let it go. I let it go. Like frankly, I ain't look back. I really haven't. As a matter of fact, I went back, I got my name, and then I don't even be on there anymore. So nobody can take my name. But that's the only thing. Like if you looked up Mr. Spann on Twitter, you'll find me, but there's nothing there. It's just a placeholder so no one takes my fucking name. That's it, right? So I'm on Threads, though, and I've been noticing there's been a consternation of people who are on Threads where they're like, yo, man, so Threads have now surpassed Twitter and X as far as monthly active users are concerned. That means that those MAGA folks are starting to find their way over here. And I'm thinking yo, with the tools that you have available to you on Threads, where you can mute this motherfucker, you can restrict this motherfucker, you can block this motherfucker, you can even hide the shit that they saying so nobody can see they shit. You can mute, block, hide for everybody and restrict this motherfucker to oblivion. I'm going to embrace that. I'm going to embrace that. I'm going to embrace that. So normally when I come across a Trump supporter on Threads, guess what happens? Mute, block, restrict, hide for everybody. I'm not engaging your bitch ass. I don't owe you that. The only reason you're here is to antagonize me. The only reason MAGA folks show up in other places is to antagonize other people. We are here, most of the times we are here minding our own fucking business, and here come this motherfucker. They got the red hats on. or the white and gold ones, or the black and white ones. They got these fucking hats on, and they are looking for someone to say something to them. They are looking for the confrontation. Fuck you. I don't have to give you that. I don't have to give you that. But also, if you come into my space, I don't have to welcome you. And that's what the students at Tennessee State University were expressing. You came into our space, and not only did you come into our space, you came into our space uninvited. We do not have to welcome you. Fuck you. Bye. So I couldn't be prouder of those kids at Tennessee State University, man. Real talk.
TSU senior Layla Johnson was there when it all went down on Tuesday. What did you think about the group coming onto this campus with those signs?
I just feel like it was unnecessary. Like, why would you come to an HBCU with all that commotion knowing that we're going to say something about it? Like, they're just, like, insane.
Why did your group pick a historically black college to have this conversation?
Is there a reason why we shouldn't go to historically black colleges to have these conversations? We're not limiting who we want to go speak to based off their race, based off their gender.
The university is calling the group's actions hostile and saying TSU students conducted themselves in a professional and respectful manner.
Take a look at our last our first six stops. We have not had an issue like this whatsoever.
Layla believes they were not there for debate, but to provoke students.
I don't agree with it. Like, it's just nonsense.
All we did was set up a table.
The university says a group was escorted from campus. Kate denies that. He instead says they were taken away for safety. TSU adds they were not authorized on campus. Are you guys going to continue to just show up to public universities if they don't answer?
Absolutely. It's our free speech. It's our these campuses have a free speech area. They're public universities.
They're public universities, but you still have to file a fucking paperwork to show the fuck up, bro. You can't just walk into any... This is the audacity. It's the caucasity, bro. It's the caucasity. You showed up on this campus. Just because it's a public university doesn't mean that like you could just walk up, like you could just be there. You gotta have a reason to fucking be there on campus, bro. You can't just be there because it's a public university. I can't just walk on the campus of Michigan State University, set up a table and say, "Hey man, debate me," without Michigan State University police saying, "Hey, what the fuck are you here for? Did you file the proper paperwork in order for you to be here?" So now the paperwork even don't mean shit to y'all, right? But here's the other part. You know, like I said, man, other people were talking about how, this is just what, this is what they wanted, man. They like those students gave them exactly what they wanted. I'll tell you this, no matter what happened at Tennessee State University that day, those folks got what they were going to get regardless. They got what they wanted regardless. They knew that those kids weren't going to be amendable to the shit that they were saying, which is why they put those fucking incendiary signs up to begin with, which is why they were wearing them fuck ass hats to begin with. They knew that those hats alone would trigger some folk, and they knew that they were at an HBCU. Now, ironically enough, there was another newscast where these folks said they didn't know they were at an HBCU. Your man just gave up the game. He said, well, why should we limit ourselves to not talking to HBCU? Excuse me. But he said, why should we limit ourselves to not talking to HBCUs? So he's giving up the game. Yeah, we're going to go everywhere. Because, again, this is about the content farming. This is about them claiming themselves to be victims. Nobody owes you a debate. That's the other part about it. No one owes you a conversation. No one owes you a debate. Take that shit and go the fuck on where you at. It's the same shit that happens on social media where these MAGA folks show up in places where oftentimes they're not necessarily welcome and try to derail conversations and try to be the antagonistic one, try to be the contrarian, right? Hoping to throw the dialogue off, hoping to throw a wrench in whatever conversation you may be having. Fuck them dudes, man. You do not owe them a conversation. Fuck them. You don't owe it to them. And so, again, as an alumni, Tennessee State University, kudos to them young Tigers. Kudos to them young Tigers, man, because, like, I saw this shit, not like I was heated, bro. Like, yo, man, are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? Like, here's the other part that I think is very interesting, man, is that Charlie Kirk was murked by one of y'all's. Okay? Charlie Kirk was murked by one of y'all. Not a black person had anything to do with Charlie Kirk being not here on this earth no more. Not a one. Charlie Kirk was in white-ass Utah, speaking at a white-ass Utah school, and he was murked by a white-ass boy from Utah from a white-ass MAGA family. But somehow, y'all thought that somehow, some way, y'all thought that bringing black kids and black people into this was the move. Make that make sense. Make that make sense, man. We didn't have shit to do with what was going on with Charlie Kirk. But y'all sure as shit tried to make... You know what's funny? Is for all of the shit that they talk about not being racist about, y'all sure as hell going out of y'all way to like, yo, make sure that the black people get some sort of like skin in this game. Because the black folks, by and large, have been minding our fucking business with the way America has been going, right? To the frustration of some. Even me, to some small degree, to the frustration of some. Like, I'll say that I've been a bit frustrated in the sense of, you know, listening to folks on the left say, or, you know, like the people on the left who you never was going to find them on like the streets, you know, protesting anyway, but also telling other people not to go out into the streets. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not one of those folks. I'm not in the streets. You ain't gonna catch me in the streets. But for those of you who do that work, I'm not mad at you. I'm proud of you, and you have my utmost support. But like there were folks on this side who were like, yeah, man, you know, we know black folks resting. You know, we line dancing. You know, we resting. And I hear that. I hear that. But I didn't endorse, and I still don't endorse, the idea that for those of us who were predisposed to be out there, who want to be out there, to tell them not to do it. I did have a problem with that. Let them be who they are. Let them play their role. Now, I know some of y'all are like, yo, you know, the reason why, and I'm, you know, I get it. I get the gamesmanship of this. Well, you know, black folks, if black folks had been out in the streets and protesting all these different things, man, you know, the Trump administration would have been coming down harder already. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'd have been, you know, they'd have been like, you know, instituting martial law and everything else. Understand something. The Trump administration has only been in office for 8 fucking months. It's only been 8 months, man. And yet we've watched how they've been pretty much running roughshod over the fucking country. And I know black folks, we've been telling the world, we've been telling the nation, it's about to be some bullshit to come down. Y'all ain't ready for this bullshit, but it's about to be some bullshit coming down. And, you know, some folks didn't take heed to it. Some folks thought it was being overstated. Some folks were like, yo, man, you know, the Trump administration, or, you know, Trump, we lived through Trump before, we could live through Trump again. But I'm going to be honest with y'all. Some of the folks on the left, I've been having some issues with. I've been having an issue with some of the rhetoric. I've been having an issue with some of the tactics. And I've been having an issue with some of the messaging, because some of that messaging has led to us being here right now. And we didn't have to be here. We did not have to be here. Now, what I'm going to do right now is there's a couple different things I want to show you guys, man. This is a video of Kamala Harris being heckled at a stop on her book tour. Okay, we get this here from the New York. I'm going to show you guys this video from the New York Post. Let me go ahead and let's see, move that. I'll pull this back up. But this is a Palestinian protester protesting Kamala Harris at a stop on her book tour for the book that she wrote, 107 Days, which is about her campaign running for president of the United States. I'm sure there's not a whole lot of like dialogue happening in this video. So for those of you who are not watching, I'll try to like narrate as much as I can. But yeah, for those of you who are watching, check this out. And essentially Kamala's, just kind of sitting there, and then you have the Palestinian protesters in the crowd, just heckling pretty much. Security is now removing the protester as she flips the bird to Kamala Harris.
I actually also write about this, okay? Which is about what I know about how and why you are saying what you are saying now and how I felt about it. You're not letting me talk. You know what? I respect.
So here's another Kamala Harris detractor, protester in the crowd, while Kamala Harris is trying to speak about the protesters that happened, not just now, but also during the campaign. They're attacking her even now.
Let's bring the temperature down. Unlike the current president of the United States. What's happening right now in Gaza, what is happening to the Palestinian people is outrageous, and it breaks my heart.
Now,
I think that actually segues perfectly to the question I had for you, and that's, you're running for president, but you're also vice president. How do you balance that in the 107 days on the campaign trail when you write in your book how you went to the border, for example, not just as a candidate,
and they were interrupted again. They were interrupted again. At a certain point, people get fed up. So here's the thing. I saw this, and my thinking has always been, when it came to this Palestinian-Israeli conflict after October 7th, has been one of empathy, but also one of frustration. Understand that I live in an area where we have the largest concentration of Arab Americans in the United States, right? Dearborn, Michigan is has the largest concentration of Arab Americans in the nation. Like that, Dearborn, Michigan has become an Arab American enclave. They have an Arab American mayor, right? And Hamtramck, same thing. Now, interestingly enough, the Hamtramck mayor is about to be like and UN United States ambassador to some other place because he endorsed Donald Trump during the campaign, right? We saw how the Arab American community here in Michigan behaved during the primary, well, not during the general election when Joe Biden was president and he was a nominee. I can remember going through stretches of Dearborn where I would see tents set up on street corners where, you know how when your team wins a national championship or a world championship or something like that, and they're selling t-shirt and, you know, team paraphernalia and whatnot. I was seeing like tents like that set up, but the paraphernalia that they were selling were Palestinian flags, and they were also selling t-shirts that said abandon Biden. And then when Biden was no longer the nominee and it became Kamala Harris, before Kamala Harris even had a fucking position of her own to espouse, they were talking about abandoning Harris then. I saw this with my own fucking eyes. Didn't take social media for me to see this. So oftentimes when I see this shit on social media and folks are acting as though like it's always been, you know, or better yet, that they gave Kamala a chance. No, the fuck they didn't. They were already there. Because she was the vice president of Joe Biden, right? Now, be that as it may, I said this and I'm going to reiterate this. Kamala Harris was vice president of the United States. When she became the nominee, I know that a lot of y'all would have loved for her to throw her boss under the bus. Y'all wanted that more than anything. Y'all wanted her to throw Joe under the bus and totally undercut everything that they had worked for prior to her becoming the nominee. Right? So if she threw Joe Biden under the bus for this, fuck, the CHIPS Act and the infrastructure bill and the Inflation Reduction Act, all that shit. Fuck all that shit. Palestine. Now I also want to be clear that what's happening over there is a genocide. What's happening over there is fucked up. What's happening over there should not be fucking happening. But also I understand, as someone who's ridden an airplane before, that when turbulence happens and those fucking airbags come down, what is the first thing they say to you? Secure your own airface, your own face mask before you attempt to help someone else so that both of y'all are okay. How can I help the people in Palestine? How can I make sure that the people in Palestine are okay when I'm at home fucked up? How can I do that? If we fucked up here at the crib, how the hell am I helping them? I can't help myself. I'm fucked up. So, when I'm looking at shit like this, I'm like, yo, what are y'all doing? Because you know what the alternative is, and everybody acted like, yo, well, it can't get no worse. Then damn it, these motherfuckers are talking about making your shit a resort. They talking about wiping y'all asses out completely. But it can't get no worse? Fuck out of here. Make that shit make sense, man. Make it make sense. They are ethnically cleansing your people over there. But you want me to think that Trump was the alternative? Are you out of your fucking mind? So, when I would see shit like this happening to Kamala Harris during the campaign, okay. And she said it. She like, if you want Donald Trump to win, just say that. But right now I'm speaking. She called the shit out there. She clocked it then. She clocked it then. So now we get Donald Trump. And the ethnic cleansing continues. Kamala Harris isn't vice president. She ain't the president. She ain't got no power and none of this shit. But y'all show up at a goddamn book tour to harangue her when the current administration is allowing the shit to go even further than what it was before? How? Make that shit make sense. I mean, I know why you're doing it. It's safer to do it that way. It's safe to go and harangue a woman who has no fucking power whatsoever to change what the fuck is happening over there. It's safe for you to do that. You ain't showing up in no motherfucking Trump political establishment, Trump events doing that shit. I haven't seen it. It's been 8 months. I ain't seen it. I ain't heard from you motherfuckers in a while. Until y'all show up at a Kamala Harris event. Y'all been quiet as fucking church mice. I can hear the mice pissing on cotton right now. But from you motherfuckers. I ain't heard shit from y'all. But y'all show up at a Kamala Harris book tour to harangue her about policies that weren't even hers. They were those of her boss. A black woman taking responsibility for the actions of a white man. The buck didn't stop with her. Didn't stop with her. There was someone above her. So no matter what position she took, the position of the United States government at the time was that of Joe Biden. So now Joe Biden's out of the way, but somehow, some way, Kamala Harris is at fault for that. Make that shit make sense to me. Make it make sense. But here's the rub, right? So I like this guy. I really do, man. I really fucking do. I like this guy, but recently, because of these events, he was having some takes, and I was like, man, what the fuck are you doing, man? What are you talking? What are you doing, man? So I'm gonna show you guys a couple posts from one Consciously. I like Consciously. Real talk. Don't have no beef with the brother whatsoever. I disagree with him on this shit. I really do. I disagree with him vehemently on this shit. I really do. But he said a couple things, man, where I'm just like, man, what are you talking about, man? What are you doing? And so I'm going to pull these things up for you guys to see for yourselves, man. Let me go ahead and make sure I share the right thing here. Where is it? Make sure I pull up the right one. Okay, here we go. So this is, let me make sure I pull up the right. All right, this is on Consciously's Facebook. He said her book is literally titled 107 Days. Well, I would argue she had unapologetic support for Israel, going as far as supporting preemptive strikes done by Israel. It blows my mind that y'all believe she can profit from talking about Israel and Palestine in her book, but can't be protested about it. Why are they not protesting Trump? Some ask. Oh, y'all didn't see the footage of Trump being disrupted at dinner on his stance with Israel? Okay, so here's the thing. The dinner that Trump had in that restaurant in Washington, D.C., that was impromptu. Those folks did not know that Donald Trump was going to be showing up at their fucking dinner when they was there. That was some impromptu shit. That wasn't some planned stuff that they had going on. Donald Trump showed there and they made their voices heard, right? It wasn't something that they planned to do. These people bought tickets with the sole express purpose of antagonizing Kamala Harris during her book tour. They spent money to go antagonize this woman. But also, Trump is the POTUS. Trump is the fucking president. The buck stops with him. Kamala Harris never had that fucking that amount of power. Kamala Harris was never in a position where her voice was the last voice that meant any motherfucking thing in the room. It was never her decision. It was always someone else's. She can give her input, but ultimately the decision rolled with someone else. And, you know, like I said, I like Consciously, but come on, bruh. What are you doing? He says, so it's never a time to criticize Kamala Harris, huh? When she was running for president of the United States, it wasn't an appropriate time because Trump, and now it wasn't an appropriate time because Trump, and now now that she's not running for that position, it's still not an appropriate time because Trump. And yeah, nigga. Yeah. Because Trump is the fucking president. Kamala Harris is not. Kamala Harris has not ever, nor is she now, in charge of American foreign policy. So what the fuck are you talking about, bruh? What are you talking about? And this is that shit with the left that gets on my fucking nerves, bro. It's this purity test bullshit that got us here right now. That got us here right now. There were so many different ways that people would find to come up with why they couldn't vote for Kamala Harris. So many different ways. It never made sense. Kamala Harris ain't black enough. Kamala Harris, what was even weird about that was Donald Trump says that shit and then black folks glommed onto it. That was weird. Now, I know some of that was probably, social media generated, but some of these niggas like bit into it and fell in line with it. Y'all saw it amongst your own friend group. Trust me, I've seen it in mine. She not black enough. She was Asian before, now she black. Yeah, she went to an HBCU, but so what? Yeah, she was raised in a black city, but so what? Yeah, she went to a black college, but so what? Right? I saw a lot of that. But we knew what the alternative was, and yet so many niggas found ways to like kind of, she locked a whole bunch of niggas up. How about the people that she tried to re-enter in motherfucking society, bro? Like, let's talk about her, like bringing, like trying to like tamp down on recidivism in California. She a cop. All of the bullshit talking points resurfaced. And so now you got Palestinian protesters showing up at a book tour where she's talking about her campaign. But they ain't got that same level of smoke for any fucking Trump anything. Anything. Right? But this wasn't the only thing, man, because the other part that like, that made me a little bit disappointed with Brother Lee is wait, was this it? Hold on, no, this isn't it. I'm sorry. I got a few different ones, man. Oh yeah, because he also talked about this. Talked about folks pulling up on Barack Obama on his Facebook, right? So let me pull this up. But he talked about, and this is the post, he says, I think if people pull up on Obama and criticize him for his imperialistic actions and stances of the past, that's fair game too. Folks still living with the impacts of his presidency, regardless if it ended in 2016. Again, Barack Obama was president. Currently, Barack Obama is not president. As a matter of fact, Barack Obama hasn't been president for damn near a decade now. So the fact that y'all are still showing up at Barack Obama events where Barack Obama is speaking and he's talking, like, yeah, I guess, nigga, if that's what you want to do. But like, what good is it doing to protest Barack Obama? What good is it doing for you to protest Kamala Harris when neither one of them have anything to do with the American foreign policy today whatsoever? How are you advancing your cause at any capacity by protesting them? Don't worry. I'll fucking wait, man.
Supposed to feel sorry for that bitch. I don't.
I'll fucking wait. Because it don't make sense, man. This is the shit that, and again, I like this brother, man. I like him. But come on, man. It's these sort of fucking purity tests. It's these purity tests that help put us in the fucking position that we're in. Because so many people on the left found comfort in being contrarian as opposed to understanding the motherfucking moment we were in. So they made room for you to feel, well, no, man, vote your conscience, man. Vote your conscience. Yeah, you're not going to get everything. No, we're not going to get, but here's what we're going to do, man. If we allow Trump to become president again, then the system is going to break down to a point where the people are going to have enough. And then when they have enough, then we could build a much better, much greater America. Like, nigga, did y'all forget what the fuck happened in 2020? Did y'all forget what the fuck happened in 2016? Y'all wanted to do this shit again? Y'all wanted to run it back? What the fuck? Right? It never made it never made sense to me, man. Never made fucking sense to me. And you know, like I said, man, I like this guy. I like Consciously. I think he's a good brother. I think that he's a conscientious brother. I think we've come to two different conclusions on what we need to do to move America forward. But I am not a fan of the performative ass protest against people not in power when the people that are in power are currently exercising that power, not only against foreign entities, but against us here at home. And again, how can we be right? How can we be right here at home? How can we help those across the pond if we're not right here at home? That will never make sense to me. All right, we got a couple comments. We got a comment here in the chat. My man Adam, he says, "Yep, 100%. The both parties are the same bullshit. Is infuriating. It is bad faith at minimum. It's always been bad faith, and it's always that fake smart shit. When you can say, you know, two wings, you know, two wings on the same bird and all that other shit, like, yeah, to make it shit, like, nah, nigga, just tell me you don't know what the fuck you talking about, because they're not the same. Kamala Harris is not the same as Donald Trump. And anybody who says that shit don't know what the fuck they talking about. Never knew what the fuck they talking about. And it will never make sense to me. It would never make sense to me. And that's why I was so disappointed to see Consciously out here, you know, with this shit, man. Like, come on, bro. What are you doing? What are you doing, man? So we got that going on. Now, another thing, man, that's going on, man. Again, this kind of leads into what really set your boy off, and that's the ICE raids that happened in Chicago. Yeah, man. So I saw this. I saw this a couple of days ago. This is what really set me off to feel like I need to get on the mic and say what I feel, because, you know, it was sitting on my chest heavy. I watched people from the south side of Chicago, an area that I know well, an area that I'm from. I watched people from my old community be accosted by our own fucking government, man. And I never thought I would see that.
Not never.
I never thought I would see that. But one of the things that that came to mind to me were like the people that I know personally, you know, some of the dudes I used to call friends who voted for this shit, who somehow, some way can never seem to criticize what's happening right now, who think that what's happening right now is needed. Now, to some degree, I've spoken about this before. You know, I can remember talking about going home to Chicago, visiting with family, and them having some misgivings about the migrants being there in Chicago. And I remember talking about how, like, man, y'all don't understand that, like, the migrant problem isn't one that's, for one, it's not a homegrown thing. What started happening was Republican governors from the state of Florida and from the state of Texas were starting to send migrants from their states to other parts of the nation. Cities like Chicago, cities like San Francisco, cities like Boston, all those cities who declare themselves sanctuary cities, they started sending them to those places. And the cities doing the humane thing took those migrants in, right? As opposed to sending them away, they took those migrants in. And, you know, for those of you who would claim to be Christian, who would claim to be, you know, disciples of Jesus, seem like wear WWJD wristlet. Like that seemed like the very Jesus-like thing to do. Take in those who need help, right? And so those cities were exercising in that. And one of the things that I started to notice was, the memification of those migrants and them being in those cities, where the narrative started popping up on social media. I talked about it here on this show, where people would talk about, well, yeah, I heard that this migrant had about $5,000 on a link card. I heard they had $5,000 on a bridge card at the grocery store, and I can't get any help on food stamps or anything, but they're giving all this money to the migrants. And, it was weird in how formulaic the fucking conversations was, because those were the same types of things that they would say about black people back in the day when Reagan was the fucking president. He's telling all of these white people that these black women are getting all of this motherfucking money off of welfare. They are welfare queens in there. They're getting all this money. And meanwhile, you can't pay for food because all these black women are taking up all the welfare money and they getting all the food, right? Same motherfucking scenario, different fucking villain. Same playbook though. And I'm watching my people fall for this shit. Just now, we aren't the target. They're making migrants the target. In much the same way that they've made transgender people the target of a lot of y'all. And that's another conversation for a whole other thing, but yeah. They made them the boogeyman for you to root against, for you to feel like somebody's getting something and I'm not getting, and therefore I'm pissed off. I should be getting that assistance. I should be getting that money. It's owed to me. That's the same way that Reagan and the Republicans used welfare with white folks. Well, I'm sorry, with black folks. It's the same way they weaponized welfare against black folks and had white folks up in arms about whether whether or not these women should be getting this level of assistance, right? Now, as someone, when I was young, who grew up receiving welfare, for those of you in Detroit, Focus Hope, government food, shit, the government cheese and the peanut butter, and like that was my shit. I mean, the government cheese was hard as hell to cut. You know what I'm saying? As a 5-year-old or a 7-year-old trying to cut the government cheese, well, like you'll fuck around and lose a finger. But it was good cheese, right? The peanut butter, I used to eat the peanut butter in the spoon, bro. I ain't even need no crackers and nothing. I just eat peanut butter. I love peanut butter like that. But you'd have thought we was living in a Taj Mahal, let the Republicans tell it. Meanwhile, I'm living in the hood. I'm eating cereal out of a box that has no fucking name on it. I used to eat the Farina. Farina was just cream of wheat, just without a name. Used to eat the Farina. Farina was my shit, especially if it had like little lumps in it every now and again. But they acted as though we were living on fucking, like we were on cloud 9. No, we weren't. But they weaponized that level of assistance to migrants. They weaponized that to black folks the same way that they weaponized that when black folks was getting it to white folk. Meanwhile, black folks ain't figuring out, hey man, they running the same fucking play on us. Right? It's part of the reason why it's important for us to know our history for real. It's part of the reason why we should know these things. Because once you know the history, then you start knowing and you start recognizing the motherfucking patterns and shit and how they run the same play over and over and over again. And it keeps fucking working because nobody's fucking reading. It keeps working, man. So the narrative right now is that there's a Venezuelan gang called Tren de Agua or something like that in Chicago, and they've taken up residents in the city, and they've taken over shit. Now, for those of you, think about this for a second. The nation should think about this for a second. Y'all have been sold a narrative that the city of Chicago is dangerous. It is a place where you do not want to be alone. It is a place where you get shot for nothing. It is a place where the gangs run everything. Right? You've been told this for years. Those Southside gangs are treacherous. Whether it's the BDs, the GDs, the Vice Lords, the Stones, all of that. Like, if you've been told these motherfuckers are ruthless, they like, and let's not even get into the young niggas in the O Block, right? All these niggas pilgrimaging their ass over to 63rd. Let's not even talk about O Block, right? Y'all been sold this whole shit. The nation, the Republicans have been selling you this story that the South Side of Chicago is fucking ruthless, that they are murderous motherfuckers. Y'all think that those same murderous motherfuckers will allow a foreign gang to take over and set up shop on the South Side of Chicago? Get the fuck out of here, bruh. Get the fuck out of here, man. It's not happening. Never. Especially if that's the story that they've been selling y'all for the last 20 fucking years. It's not happening. Chicago crime has been going down for the better part of the last 20 some odd years, bro. When you look at the murder numbers, I know that's the number that everybody fucking they point to when they talk about crime in the city and whatnot. You compare the numbers of the city of Chicago right now to say, I don't know, 1994, and see what you come up with. See how bad it was then compared to what it is now. Meanwhile, they're telling you it's worse now than it ever was. Those two things can't be the same. They aren't congruent. But when you know the history of some shit, they can't blow this shit up your ass. But they want you to believe that some foreigners that set up shop on the South Side of Chicago where gangs run amok and they done took over. Get the fuck out of here. That shit doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Right? But this is a story that ICE is running with why they raided an entire fucking apartment building on the South Side of Chicago. So let me pull this story up so you guys can see what the fuck set your boy off. Where is it? Okay, here it is. I'm gonna play this. This is off of my thread. So let me pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Give me just a second here while I pull this up so you guys can see. Yeah, here we go. And boom. I gotta unmute it.
A war scene, windows and doors blown off as dozens of people living at a South Shore apartment, including children, were detained by federal agents during targeted immigration enforcement.
They pulled up in budget trucks, SWAT tanks.
The sound of flashbangs startles a community out of its sleep in the Citizen app video.
This was crazy. It felt like we were under siege last night.
As federal agents were seen marching through the streets of South Shore early Tuesday morning.
My building is shaking, so I'm like, what is that? Then I look out the window, it's a Black Hawk helicopter.
I was out there crying when I seen the little girl come around the corner. Because they was bringing the kids out too. Had them zip tied to each other.
The FBI confirming to ABC7 its agents were helping Border Patrol carry out a targeted immigration enforcement operation at this apartment complex on the corner of 75th and South Shore Drive.
As I was walking from the bus, I was headed to my apartment. As I got to my unit to stick my key in the door, I was grabbed by an officer. And I said, what's going on? He never actually told me. He just said I was being detained.
They paddling all us up in the back there on the other side. And it wasn't no room to move nowhere.
They had the black people in one van and the immigrants in another van.
Border Patrol Commander-at-Large Gregory Bovino with his officers speaking on the ground in an exclusive interview with News Nation.
How about you live in the apartment next door to Trinidad Aragua members that are trafficking and prostitution, guns, drugs, and taking advantage of American citizens in a violent way.
Destruction left behind inside the complex, with doors blown off of their hinges and holes left in the walls. Immigrant advocates and elected officials gathering to condemn the overnight operation.
And we're trying to bring people in and trying to fight so we can all stay in this neighborhood, but that can't happen when we have people pulling us out of our beds at night.
While immigrant advocates say they believe about 30 to 40 people were detained, federal authorities have not confirmed that number, so it's unclear how many people were held and possibly arrested. Tree Ward, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, so you got that going on, right? Now, I've also seen additional reporting that the person who owned the building was the one who called the Department of Homeland Security and insinuated that this Venezuelan gang had taken over his building, right? That they were in his building. Now, let's say if that were true. Let's grant that's true. You don't know your tenants. You don't know who lives in what apartment and who doesn't. You would allow for your entire building and all of your residents to be snatched out of their homes, to have your building ransacked, to have the windows broken, to have your tenants' property destroyed and strewn all over the fucking apartment because you think a Venezuelan supposed gang is in your building? So all of your residents have to suffer for that? Make that make sense. Make that make sense. And as for anybody who would say, well, they were not, they weren't arrested. They were just detained. Nigga, I'm in my bed. I'm in the bed of my house. I'm in the bed of my house. Somebody is banging on my fucking door trying to get in my house. Now, y'all know your boy. For anybody who been listening to me for a long period, y'all know your boy. That could have been very fucking ugly for them. And me too. It could have been nasty. Because I have rights to privacy. I have a right to not have my home searched without a fucking warrant. What is the warrant that y'all have to search my apartment specifically? Right? I'm not engaged in any criminal activities. As a matter of fact, I'm a citizen. They had motherfuckers hemmed up and were basically saying, I don't go fuck if you're a citizen now. We're going to prove it. And even if we can't get you on some immigration shit, if you got a warrant, we're going to take you down anyway. Right? This is happening to U.S. citizens, black people in Chicago are now being hemmed up by this government. Now, I know some of y'all, some of the Hispanic community who are upset with black people not being active and out and, for y'all's plight when ICE was fucking with y'all and y'all say, we told y'all. And then I know some of y'all who are Palestinian descent would say like, hey, see, I told y'all. Meanwhile, black folks are like, motherfucker, this has been our reality since we've been here. Well, this is what we were trying to, a lot of us were trying to tell you this shit back in November. The time to do something was then. It didn't have to be this way. We didn't have to fucking be here. But so many people fell for the bullshit, man. Fell for the, I don't know anything about, Project 2025. Thought Kamala Harris was lying when Kamala Harris told y'all this motherfucker wants to sick the military on American citizens. It's fucking happening right now. And the scary thing is, not enough motherfuckers seem to be that much upset about it. People are just kind of shrugging their shoulders about it in large part because it hasn't touched them yet. Hasn't touched them yet. I'm watching two places that I know intimately be antagonized by MAGA. My hometown of Chicago, my former college in Tennessee State University. I'm watching it happen in real time. And I'm also watching a nation of folks shrug their shoulders at it. It's scary to watch it happen and folks are just like, what are we supposed to do? The apathy is the worst part of it. The apathy is the worst part of it. There's There's an additional video I wanted to show you guys about this, though, because that wasn't the only one. There was a follow-up story to this. So I'm going to pull this up so you guys can watch right along with me as well. Let me do this here. Okay. Let me pull that up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann, and I'm going to do this here. Boom. Boom. All right. Let me rewind this and turn the sound up.
Woman who actually lives in this building, and she says she was detained by ICE agents overnight, and she says they took everyone and then asked questions later.
They just treated us like we were nothing.
Patricia Fisher says she came out to the hallway of her apartment complex on the corner of 75th and South Shore Drive in her nightgown around 10 Monday night, only to find ICE agents yelling police.
It was scary because I've never had a gun put in my face. They asked my name and my date of birth and asked me did I have any warrants, and I told them no, I didn't.
She says she was then handcuffed and released around 3 a.m. Fisher says she was told if anyone had any kind of warrant out for them, even if it was unrelated to immigration, they would not be released. Citizenat video shows the chaotic scene overnight. Neighbors tell us there were dozens of ICE agents. Neighbors like Ebony Watson says they ducked for cover as they heard several flashbangs go off.
They was terrified. The kids was crying. People was screaming. They looked very distraught. I was out there crying when I seen the little girl come around the corner. Because they was bringing the kids out too. Had them zip tied to each other. That's all I kept asking. Where's the morality? Where's the human? One of them literally laughed. He was standing right here. He said, them kids.
Watson says budget trucks and military-style vans were used to separate parents from their children. Other neighbors say they saw agents destroying property to get in the building.
And they had a big 15-inch chainsaw with a round blade on it, cutting this fence down. We're under siege. We're being invaded by our own military.
The FBI did confirm this morning that they did help the U.S. Border Patrol carry out a targeted immigration enforcement operation in this area, and they say they have been supporting these efforts at the direction of the U.S. Attorney General. I spoke to one woman who actually...
All right. So, yeah, man, again, that was a follow-up to the other story, man. But for those of you who think this is okay, I don't know what to tell you, man. I really don't. I have no fucking words for you if you think this type of shit is okay. Now, I know there are some people, right? There's always going to be some people that will be like, yo, man, well, they only going at, those who believe the spiel about criminals and illegal immigrants and all this other shit, if you ain't got nothing to worry about, if you ain't no criminal, this, that, and the other, right? And you also have those who think that, like, yeah, I want the military to come in and I want them to violate, not only my rights, but the rights of everybody around me because I want to feel safe, right? And ironically enough, there's this quote by fucking what's my man? Benjamin Franklin, man. Let me see if I can pull this quote up because it's ironic because it's coming from him being that he was a fucking slaveholder. But he said, I'm gonna say those who here we go. See, Google be knowing your boy. But it says the full quote is from a 1755 letter that Franklin wrote on behalf of the Pennsylvania Assembly. He said, those who would be willing to give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. Once you give up rights, you never get them fuckers back, bruh. You never get them back. You can't give up your rights willingly for the feeling of safety. Think about this. I'm old enough to remember a time where you didn't have to take your shoes off when you got on an airplane. There was no such thing as TSA at one point. I'm old enough to remember that. I'm old enough to remember where, there was no such thing as a Patriot Act, and they could surveil what books you were getting out of the library. They could see where, the national security apparatus was surveilling even its own fucking citizens, where they were getting no warrants on tapping your phones and shit like that. Because guess what? When you give those rights up, you don't get them back. We're still under surveillance right now. I'm telling y'all right now, bro, because of the way I speak about this current motherfucking administration, or I'm sorry, not administration, this regime. Because of the way I currently speak about this regime, I don't know if I really want to leave the continent of the United States. I don't know if they would allow me back in because of the way I speak about it. The shit is that real. Shit is that real. And I don't want to disasterbate, as my man, that's a term my man Rod over there, the black guy who tips coin, disasterbation and stuff like that. I don't want to disasterbate. I don't. But I do want to be realistic. And I do want to be clear-eyed about what's happening right in our fucking faces every fucking day. Our rights are being eroded right in front of us, and I don't think enough of us are pissed off enough about it at all. I don't think enough of us are paying attention to the shit that's happening at all. It's not just the Latinos who are being accosted. It's black folks who are being accosted. And not only that, it has been deemed legal by the Supreme Court just this motherfucking summer. Racial profiling is now legal. It's the law of the land here in America because of that Supreme Court. Now, for those of you who are like, wondering about the Supreme Court, hey, man, back in 2016, we tried to tell y'all about that goddamn Supreme Court, but then y'all were trying to find all the reasons in the world not to vote for Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was the boogeyman back then. Donald Trump gets to put 3 motherfuckers on the Supreme Court, and now we have a Supreme Court that will actually have a ruling come down that says, hey, as a president, if as long as it's a part of his official duties, he can't be prosecuted for the shit. Giving Donald Trump immunity for all this bullshit that he's doing to us right now. Now, interestingly enough, before I get out of here, I'm gonna end on this with this last point here. Interestingly enough, Donald Trump, when we were going through the process of electing a president, Donald Trump claimed that he had no clue what Project 2025 was. As a matter of fact, Kamala Harris tried to, pin him down on Project 2025. Donald Trump was like, I don't know what the fuck you talking about, right? All these people on, let's see, Taraji P. Henson got on the BET Awards, tried to highlight 2025. And I remember hearing niggas I know talking about oh man, that's just a think tank. Matter of fact, not even just the niggas I know. Motherfuckers on that My Expert Opinion podcast, that Mav Hoffa bullshit. Talking about that was just a think tank. And that was some people that came up with some shit. Again, niggas who bought into this Donald Trump shit. Right? Donald Trump told them, I don't know nothing about that. Let's go back. Let's go back in the time a little bit. We're gonna listen. We're gonna watch and listen to this motherfucker say he don't know shit about Project 2025. And you niggas bought that shit hook, line, and sinker. And for all of you niggas who bought that shit hook, line, and sinker, fuck you from the bottom of my balls. Fuck you. Straight up. But listen, here's Donald Trump claiming he don't know a goddamn thing about Project 2025 in the debate with Kamala Harris. Check this out, y'all. Here we go.
Number one, I have nothing to do, as you know, and as she knows better than anyone, I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm not going to read it. This was a group of people that got together. They came up with some ideas, I guess some good, some bad, but it makes no difference. I have nothing to do. Everybody knows I'm an open book. Everybody knows what I'm going to do. Cut taxes very substantially and create a great economy like I did before. We had the greatest economy. We got hit with a pandemic, and the pandemic was not since 1917, where 100 million people died, has there been anything like it. We did a phenomenal job with the pandemic. We handed them over a country where the economy and where the stock market was higher than it was before the pandemic came in. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We made ventilators for the entire world. We got gowns, we got masks, we did things that nobody thought possible. And people give me credit for rebuilding the military. They give me credit for a lot of things, but not enough credit for the great job we did with the pandemic.
Here's the thing, right? What's interesting, was wild is that it was the Trump administration that was responsible for the pandemic's vaccine. Operation Warp Speed is how we got the vaccines, right? Ironically enough, his own people and many people who support Trump don't want to take the fucking vaccines. So the one thing that he would get credit for, he doesn't want to take credit for. Make that shit make sense, right? But here's another time where he didn't want to take credit for it. He didn't want to own up to knowing anything about Project 2025. So there was another instance of him acting like he ain't know shit about it. Here's I'm gonna pull this up so you guys can watch. Right on with your boy, because it wasn't just that one time. He denied it a few times, man. So here we go. Of him talking about how he don't know nothing about Project 2025.
And he's now distancing himself from the controversial Project 2025. That's a massive proposed overhaul of the federal government, which includes firing tens of thousands of government workers and replacing them with Trump loyalists.
Is that not fucking happening right now? Is that not happening right now? Did we not just watch this motherfucker go into a room full of 800 some odd generals and admirals and tell them, hey, you ain't got to applaud or anything. You can get up and leave, but if you get up and leave, that's going to be your rank. That's going to be your future, right? We saw his Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, Drunk Seth, tell them folks that if they didn't like what he was saying, they also should get up and leave, right? 300,000 black women have already lost their job in civil service because of Donald Trump. We've already watched Doge come through and shed thousands of jobs. Many people who voted for Donald Trump find themselves out of fucking work, not knowing that they were going to be on a chopping block. We'll already see a Project 2025 be implemented. But he's right now, at that point, he was saying, I don't know nothing about it.
It also calls for cutting Social Security benefits. It was drafted by longtime allies and former officials in Trump's administration. Trump posted on his social media website that he knows nothing about it and has no idea who's behind it. This comes days after the head of the think tank responsible for the program suggesting there would be a second American Revolution. For the former president.
Yeah, he doesn't know anything about it. Donald Trump told y'all he don't know shit about Project 2025, right? Now, here's Donald Trump on his own motherfucking True Social telling y'all about his knowledge of Project 2025. I'm gonna pull this up so you guys can watch. I'm sorry, so you guys can see for yourselves. I need to read this because this is a post, but and this is off of my threads. But here's the post. I have a meeting today with Russ Vaught, he of Project 2025 fame, to determine which of the many Democrat agencies, most of which are a political scam, he recommends to be cut and whether or not those cuts will be temporary or permanent. I can't believe the radical left Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity. They are not stupid people, so maybe this is their way of wanting to quietly and quickly make America great again, President Donald J. Trump. Now, this is why I said earlier that I think Donald Trump and the people around Donald Trump and the propagandists around Donald Trump think that Trump supporters are fucking stupid. They think you're as stupid as those of us on the other side think you're stupid. He thinks that you're stupid enough to believe that he didn't know shit about Project 2025. He's stupid enough. He thinks you're stupid enough to believe that the Democrats shut down the government because the government is currently shut down. He thinks you're stupid enough to believe that the Democrats shut down the government because they wanted to fund health care for illegal immigrants, despite the fact that it is already illegal for illegal immigrants for them to get health care paid for by the government. He wants you to believe that. He also wants you to believe that is the Democrats. It's the Democrats' fault that the government is shut down, despite the fact that Republicans are currently running the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives, and they currently control the Supreme Court of the United States. All three branches of government are being ran by conservatives. All three. So the fact that the government isn't working right now is a testament to their inability to run it. But they want you to believe that Democrats in the minority are responsible for the government shutdown. Donald Trump thinks you are a fucking fool. And to be honest with you, I do too. This is one of the only things that me and Donald Trump will probably ever really agree on. That his own supporters are fucking stupid. Y'all gotta be stupid if you think that he had no idea what Project 2025 was. That everybody who was on Project 2025 was, like they had at least 25 motherfuckers that used to work for him and shit in his previous administration, but they didn't have it. He had no clue, right? he ain't know what the fuck y'all was talking about. That's some old leftist bullshit, right? He thinks y'all are fucking stupid, and so do I. It's the only thing we agree on is that Donald Trump supporters are fucking idiots. So, yeah, man, like when I watch Donald Trump send ICE agents into the south side of Chicago and act as though, people, citizens are should be accosted by their own fucking government. And you don't even have to believe me. As a matter of fact, it's not me that you should believe. I can remember Kamala Harris telling y'all that Donald Trump would be using the military against American citizens. I remember this. This happened back in 2024. She said this back then. Kamala Harris said this, and y'all said she was lying. Y'all called this woman a liar for suggesting it. And yet here we are. Check this out. That shit says an hour and 21 minutes. They didn't cue that down. They didn't cue that down. So I'm gonna read from the article. It says Vice President Harris zeroed in on former President Donald Trump's comments suggesting that the U.S. military could be used to deal with the enemy from within, as the two presidential nominees took the fight for battleground Pennsylvania to opposite ends on Monday. He considers anyone who doesn't support him and who will not bend to his will an enemy to our country, Harris said, after playing a clip of the comment on the jumbo screen at her rally in at the Erie Arena. This is among the reasons I believe so strongly that a second Trump term would be a huge risk for America and dangerous. Harris is highlighting what she says are examples of Trump's increasingly unstable and unhinged behavior. As part of her effort to win over a small universe of undecided voters and tear away even a small slice of traditionally Republican voters in the fight for Pennsylvania and 6 other closely contested states that are expected to determine who wins the next month's election. She argued that Trump's comments on a Fox News Sunday Morning Futures interview are the latest example of threatening rhetoric from the former president that should concern Americans about a potential second Trump term, what it could look like. Trump made the comment in response to a question about outside agitators potentially disrupting Election Day, pivoting to what he said is a foe closer to home. And Trump said, I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics, and I think they're big, and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or really necessary by the military, because they can't let that happen. And folks in the media said that she was lying, that she was overstating this, that it was like no way in hell did Donald Trump even consider it, right? Called the woman a liar. And then we fast forward to Donald Trump standing in front of a room full of fucking generals and admirals, basically echoing the shit that Kamala Harris tried to tell y'all last fucking year. We did not have to fucking be here, man. We did not have to be here. Let me pull this up so you guys can see right along with your man Spann. But this is him saying it to the fucking generals, man. Check this out.
To be here this morning to address the senior leadership of what is once again known around the world as the Department of War. My message to you is very simple. I am with you, I support you, and as president, I have your backs 100%. You'll never see me even waver a little bit. It's the way it is. And that includes our great police officers and firemen and all of these people that are doing so well. Together over the next few years, we're going to make our military stronger, tougher, faster, fiercer, and more powerful than it has ever been before. The apparatus of our country was not set up for merit. It was set up for political correctness. And you can never be great if you're going to do that. And we're going to be greater than we ever were before. We will not be politically correct when it comes to defending American freedom, and we will be a fighting and winning machine. We want to fight, we want to win. Last month I signed an executive order to provide training for quick reaction force that can help quell civil disturbances. This is going to be a big thing for the people in this room because it's the enemy from within, and we have to handle it before it gets out of control. It won't get out of control. But I want to salute every service member who has helped us carry out this critical mission. It's really a very important mission. And I told Pete we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military. As president, I will never hesitate to defend our people from threats of violence, from the horrible plague that's taking place from within.
Yeah, so
that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. There's no wonder you get D's and everything.
Yeah, man, but also and ultimately, for anybody who voted for this shit,
take a big step back and literally fuck your own face.
Yeah, man. And also,
makes me sick, motherfucker, how far we done fell.
Yeah, man. So we got that going on. But yeah, that's what I got. I had to get this. I had to purge this shit from my body, man. I had to purge this shit, get this shit off my chest, and just really just kind of talk to the absurdity of the shit, and also just point out the fucking obvious, man, because is bad to a degree how many people just don't fucking see the shit happening right in front of us, man. And that's the thing that scares me the most, is that a lot of this shit is just happening right there in front of us. And so many folk are just like oblivious to it, are checked out, are apathetic. And that apathy, that obliviousness, and that checked outness is not gonna help us, man. It is not gonna help us. So yeah, I like ultimately, man, like again, what I would advise anybody to do would be all of the things that you would do in resistance. If you feel like you want to go out in the streets and protest, go out in the streets and protest. If you feel like you want to fund entities that will fight against this, fund those entities that will fight against this. If you feel like you want to get on social media and speak out against this regime, speak out against this regime. But by any means, make sure that you do your part, right? And most importantly, although I know a lot of people kind of minimize the voting thing and say, well, that's the bare minimum you can do. But it's one of the more important things that you can fucking do, because we didn't have to be here. And if more people had exercised their right to vote and vote the right way, we would not be in this position today. I mean that. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So yeah, pay attention, be vigilant, be adamant, be aware, be informed. More than anything else, be informed. And don't let anybody shame you for being informed. Because I've noticed that type of shit too, where people would like shame you for like knowing what the fuck is going on in the world. Nah, man. Don't allow for them to feel comfortable being dumb and being unaware of shit. Shame them for being dumb and unaware of what the fuck is happening in the world. Reverse that shit on them. For real. But yeah, man. I'm about to get on up out of here. I got some shit to do tonight. Right? But of course, before we get on up out of here, I got to remind you guys how to get in touch with your man Spann here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and let your voice be heard. Go ahead and hit up that hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Leave those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get played here live on the show and responded to in kind. You can also email me here. I'm sorry, the email is not working. I'm sorry. Hit me up on Threads and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. Follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. For those of you who would have liked to email me, you could DM me over on those platforms. So go ahead and send me those messages over there. Also, hit me up on Spotify and iTunes with a 5-star review. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get right here live on the show. We really do appreciate everybody who does that. Doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast Network in its entirety. But also, if you're watching us via YouTube, man, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, man. Leave us those comments on the videos, man. Those comments will be responded to here live on the show as well. And also, for those of you who would like to put something down on the show, you want to make it, something that you want to get something back, get something tangible, we do have a store. The store link will be in the show notes. You can go there, you can copy yourself some merch, get yourself a cap, get yourself a coffee mug, get yourself a t-shirt or a hoodie, man. We got some stuff over there. It looks nice, and we really appreciate those of you who would appreciate, who would purchase those things and patronize us in that way, man. Real talk. But yeah, man, I am about to get on up out of here. I will talk to you guys again soon. But until next time, fam, peace.